Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's One Piece Treasure Cruise video we are going to discuss about the good and the bad regarding one of the upcoming 9.5 anniversary legends, Film Red Shanks. Some basic info about the legend: he is an anniversary unit, meaning he will only be available in anniversary Sugofests. He is Sai, Cerebral Free Spirit. He is a solo legend, not a dual unit, even though his crew is involved in the artwork. He will be releasing soon in the 9.5 anniversary Sugofest, but we don't yet have information on that. He is also super tandem, and without further ado, let's see the good and the bad about him. Beginning with the good, he is Free Spirit and Cerebral, two of the best classes in the game, but not only that, he is also Sai, another great type to have, and of course, he doesn't only boost Free Spirit and Cerebral through his captain or special abilities, he also boosts fighter and slasher characters, so a bigger array of classes that are boosted by him even though he is not a universal captain. Of course, his superclass only applies to Cerebral characters, so he is superclass Cerebral. On top of that, he is a very good attack and HP boosting captain. First of all, he boosts your attack more if you have matching slots, a common theme among captain abilities, and he is also an HP booster, something pretty important if HP requirements come in play. As captain, he also makes 3 types of slots matching for everyone, and Sai is not included. We have Dex, RCV and TND. Dex is great because we get another type other than Sai, TND is great because he is super tandem, and RCV is a great bonus. Also included in his captain ability is Special Reverse utility, which is great. We don't only see the classic utility where he resists 10 turns of Special Reverse for the entirety of the crew, but we also see that if a crewmate that is either Free Spirit or Cerebral uses a special, then Shanks as captain gets 3 turns of special cooldown reduction. Which means even if we don't use him as double captain, which we probably don't want to do, we can use his special more than once in a quest. So for example, if we use him in stage 4 of a quest once, then we can use him again in stage 5 of the quest after activating all of our other specials. Have in mind, this utility also applies to double special activation units. If they are Free Spirit or Cerebral, activating their special twice through double special activation will give Shanks a total of 6 turns of special cooldown reduction if he is captain. If he is a sailor though, he still has the utility for his own special charge, but not with classes, with types. Instead of Free Spirit Cerebral, we see Strength and Sai, and instead of 3 turns of special cooldown reduction, we see 2. Unlike the captain ability though, the sailor ability does not have a limit of use. And of course double special activation helps him as a sailor as well, but to be honest, I don't really know how often we are going to use him as a sailor anyway. Proceeding with the good, through his special, he ignores immunity and he sets enemies' defense to 0, which is awesome. Units that ignore immunity definitely are future-proof and have a lot of potential. He is a great combination with units that provide a conditional defense down attack boost. And on top of the ignoring immunity part, he can completely remove defense down immunity from the enemy if present. I am not exactly certain why this would be useful while he can ignore immunity, but he can do it nonetheless. He can also lock slots, which is a good feature to have through a special, simply because if we have a full board of matching slots, especially if they are non-manipulatable Rainbow or Wano slots, it is great to keep them for multiple stages. He is already a great combination with V16 plus Yamato and V2 Shirahoshi Mansery. He is also a great ore booster for 2.75 times, and he boosts all of the classes available in his captain ability, not only Free Spirit and Cerebral, but also Slasher and Fighters. And finally for the good, he has a great superclass ability. He can completely remove his own despair, which means if he is captain, especially double captain, he can completely remove despair. Then he provides a very good chain growth boost for Cerebral, Free Spirit, Fighter and Slasher characters, which can go in great combination with chain boosting units or units that provide chain boundaries. And he also provides full board manipulation for slots. The captain slot, even through block, becomes RCV, and then the other 4 units get a TND slot. Although the way we see his superclass special worded means that only the top row characters, the captains, can have slot manipulation through block slots. The rest of them do not, which is definitely a drawback and the perfect transition into the bad. We are going to stay with his superclass as the topic at hand, and we are going to talk about one of his biggest disadvantages as a utility unit, in my opinion, the despair removal, being through his superclass ability. Generally, it is good to have extra utility, but if in a quest we see in the same stage despair and special reverse, and despair is applied first, then Shanks won't be able to resist the special reverse if being despaired, simply because for him to remove despair we need to activate his superclass. Meaning, in that case, we are either going to need to pair him up with a character that can resist despair, for example V2 Uta or Roger, great combinations with Shanks, or someone in the crewmate position that can give everyone their specials back. Another bad thing is that he doesn't have an EX super, but he still needs 2 specific characters in the crew in order for him to get access to his superclass ability. This is not the worst thing in the world because characters like Luffy or Uta are available in the requirements, but a lot of the characters are members of his crew and they unfortunately do not have a lot of units available in the game. Another big disadvantage about this Shanks is that he provides a very horrible chain lock if we already have an ore boost available. The chain lock being 1.5 times, and at first when I read that I thought it was a mistake and it would be a correction somewhere that the chain lock is not actually 1.5 times but it is 3.5 or something better than 1.5, which is absolutely horrendous, but it seems like it will be 1.5 times. Which means 2 things. Number 1, he doesn't really have value as double captain, and number 2, you need to order your specials very carefully. First of all, as double captain, I understand you wanting to remove despair completely, but then again, you can get his special multiple times if you want to use it in different stages, and you can just use a despair removing captain like Roger or V2 Uta. Even the super evolution of G5 Luffy would work pretty well with him. Another thing is that if we actually order our specials correctly, yes, we can get the maximum value out of double Shanks, but I don't really know if it is worth it. For example, we can activate a unit to either provide us with a good chain lock or chain boundaries, then get the orb boost from one Shanks and then the orb buff from the other Shanks to get the 3 times orb boost. And perhaps his superclass can either help us completely remove despair, or he can help us with slot manipulation in 2 different stages alongside his chain growth boosting. I understand that, but I just don't know how often it will be useful. The 1.5 times of a chain lock is definitely a big disadvantage though, and something we need to play around when team building with Shanks. Moving on to his support, I think it is pretty bad actually. It is very weird, the fact that he can provide a matching slot, which is fine, but he also provides 1 turn of special cooldown reduction on the supported character only if that supported character uses a special for special cooldown reduction, which makes no sense. I get the matching slot part, but the rest of it is very weird to me. And finally, another pretty big thing in my opinion, this Shanks cannot provide a conditional attack boost. It is great that he can ignore immunity and of course reduce the opponent's defense to 0. But without a conditional attack boost to go with that, you would need another unit to provide said conditional attack boost to get the maximum damage you can out of the Shanks. Still, the ignoring immunity part can be useful in places where we see defense up and the enemy has immunity. Shanks can essentially completely ignore the defense up for 2 turns, which is still great, but having the conditional attack boost as well would be the perfect scenario. Overall, I would say that even through his very obvious disadvantages, this Shanks is a decent unit. A Shanks character with utility will always be a great combination, and this one is no exception. Something to have in mind, this won't be a Super Sugofest, and with the New Year's Super Sugofest so close, you might want to skip on these Shanks just to of course gather gems for the big Super Sugofest units at the end of the year. He is definitely not a must-have unit, and he also won't be available to pull in the upcoming New Year's banner since it won't be an anniversary banner, and this one is an anniversary legend. What do you think about these Shanks though? Tell me in the comments down below, and definitely subscribe to the channel to not miss out on the similar videos I will make for Gear 5 Luffy and also Katakuri Oven and Brûlé. As always, thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.